All right, so I just got done mowing the grass. I haven't mowed it for about a week and a half, so it was quite long. And I currently have COVID. I had kind of a stuffy nose. Kind of feel kind of a little bit weak, a little bit tired. But today I was like, you know what? I think I can mow the grass, do some physical labor, even when I have COVID. So that's what I did. I went out and took care of business. I feel pretty good. My nose is plugged a little bit, and I've been coughing a little bit. But, just like any other cold, that's the way I've always done it. If I don't have a fever and I'm not feeling extremely sick, I can go ahead and go about my business as I see fit. I did work today. I've been working ever since I felt this way. And it was probably today's what, Tuesday? So it was I think Friday night when I started feeling it. But I've gone to work every day since. And had my temperatures checked, and well, there's no temperature, right? I don't have a fever, but I have COVID, right? Because you can have COVID and not have a fever. And then of course my spouse has COVID. And because we tested ourselves. We looked at the online, and it showed almost every symptom that exists for any kind of ailment was on there about COVID. So I assumed that we have COVID because I got congestion in my sinuses, and my head feels a little funny, and I don't know if it's because of the Mucinex that I've been taking, and also because of the vitamin C with bioflavonoids that I've been taking. Maybe it's because of the fact that I've been eating a lot of spinach, and getting enough rest at night. But anyway, it hasn't even been a week yet, and I think I'm on my recovery of the third time that I've had COVID. I've been tested 3 times, and I have tested positive each time that I've had it. Just like I've had colds in the past, I would have colds, and I would continue about my business, and sometimes the cold would be bad, and I would have to rest and lay down, or maybe skip a day of work because I was just feeling too ill. And back in the day when I used to work for big fascist corporate, I asked the HR person, I was like, why are they checking our temperature? And at that time, I had just got done going through back surgery, and so I was taking some pain reliever here and there, over the counter, just like some Tylenol, which also reduces fever. And she's like, well, we would hope that you wouldn't do that. And it's like, so you don't want me to take any kind of pain reliever, even though I just had a major surgery that took 3 hours, and I had to fly to Dallas, Texas to have it done. And now you're telling me I probably shouldn't take any pain reliever because we want to make sure we can see that you have a fever, and so we can send you home so you can't go to work. And the thing is you can, from what I understand, is people can have the COVID and not have a fever. That's what they've told us. So I could never understand why they were testing people's temperatures, because you can have COVID. Now, I have tested my temperature throughout the last 3 or 4 days, and I have yet to go above 87 degrees, or 97 degrees, 98 degrees. So I have not had a fever. I haven't even really had a low-grade fever, but yet I have had the COVID. A lot of the symptoms are like what they describe as them being, which is almost everything. I didn't see hemorrhoids on the list of symptoms that you could have with COVID, but I don't have hemorrhoids, so I wasn't going to use that as a description of whether or not I had COVID. Because we all know that these tests that you get at the doctors and things aren't accurate, right? It depends on how much infection you have at the time they take the test, and whether or not that they test properly. And it makes me wonder, if I've had COVID 3 times in the last year, and the very first time I had it, I think I felt tired for like 3 or 4 hours. But I shouldn't have felt tired because it was early in the day and I had plenty of sleep. And then I figured my wife didn't feel very well at all. In fact, she had been sick with the first strain of COVID back in, January of 2020, when they said that COVID hadn't even come here to America yet. And so she had suffered pretty pretty bad with the first string of COVID. And I had been around her the whole time, and I never actually got that sick, but it did affect me for about 3 or 4 hours before I started feeling better. Now, the second time I had COVID was just about a month ago when I had a family get-together, and one of the family members had the COVID. And she didn't know she had the COVID, and she ended up giving the COVID to one of my other family members, who was actually a hysterical person who believes everything she reads on the internet and everything she has anyone tell her. Oh, and she works for the school district, so what do you expect? And the funny thing about it is that she was vaccinated, fully vaccinated, only prior, like 2 weeks prior to when she was exposed to actual COVID. Well, they both got pretty sick. I had the throw-ups, because apparently this new version of COVID, you have the diarrhea and the throw-ups and, just about everything else. And they got over it. And then this time, though, the third time that I've gotten COVID, this one has actually been the worst time. I actually was thinking, wow, maybe I'll die from this. Because, they always talk about how so many people die from this. But yet I noticed that restaurants are still open. And I noticed that I'm not seeing any major reports. Of course, I don't watch the news anymore, but I don't see any more major reports that shows all these people dying in New York. 700 people a day dying, which is actually their normal amount of people they lose in that state every day. It's a huge state. It's got a lot of people, and if you look at the death rates for that state, that's about what they lose. So what they were doing is they were just going, oh, we're just going to count everyone as a COVID death. Right? And then where's the memorial for all those deaths? Why haven't we heard anything? Like when 9/11 happened. We lost what? I'm kind of embarrassed that I can't remember the exact number, but it was something like 3,200 people that we lost on 9/11, right? Well, we still have memorials about that event. But what are the memorials about all of those people that died from COVID in New York? Okay, or wherever that other country was, Italy or whatever, it had all those people dying. And that's the thing is, how many doctors and how many nurses were actually trained properly to deal with lung issues? How many of those people actually died because they hooked them up to ventilators, and because of malpractice, they perished? I mean, has anyone ever wondered about that? Because now we have COVID, and it's as contagious as chickenpox. And yet, we're still open. Did we learn our lessons? Is that we destroyed the economy and now we have this massive inflation and we're printing money out of thin air? Did we learn our lesson that perhaps that we overreacted and we shut everything down because we thought we were going to save some miserable lives from perishing? I mean, I'm still seeing a lot of people who I thought were the classic target of COVID are still alive. I see them rolling out of their cars and crawling up to the restaurants to eat. They haven't died. So this whole thing is obviously a mass psychosis. This thing of this current generation is that we are scared of everything, even the common cold. Yeah, and the dirty secret's out. The vaccines aren't working. Now they're trying to say that the longer you go without a vaccine, the less effective it is. So is this the new norm, right? I mean, is everyone supposed to just go down and get their shot every 6 months? I mean, is that where we're heading? Because I ain't following that path. I'm going to tell you right here and right now, I will never accept that, okay? Because that is cockamamie, and that's crossing the line, people. Crossing the line. And all of you people out there that want to just follow after these people who've lied to you constantly, telling you that if you get the vaccine, oh, guess what? You're not going to get, oh, no, now they're saying now you will get it. But it's going to lessen the symptoms. And now they're telling you got to keep getting boosters. Okay? This crazy. Okay? We have crossed the line. There's a movie I want to recommend that you watch. It came out a while ago. It's called, I believe it's called The Cell. Okay? And it talks about the people who basically get converted into basically like zombies because they're using their cell phone. And all this information goes into their brains, and they ended up getting like short-circuited and controlled by their cell phones. And so it reminded me of the people of the world today. There's so many of you that run around with your mouths open going, and you all do the same thing. Okay, because you all watch the same news, you all listen to the same crap, and you all believe it. Okay? And then that one guy that's running around away from all of you crazy fucks, and then looks at you like that movie and goes, wow, they are totally taken over. So I would suggest you watch that movie. It's called The Cell. C-E-L-L, like a cell phone. And perhaps it'll awaken you to the reality of what you're doing. Yeah, I mean, do you need any more proof? I mean, the facts are laid out right in front of your face as much as they are with me. Okay? There have been people who have died from colds. There have been people who have died from COVID. There's been people who have died from cancer. There's another video that you should watch. It's from Metal Ball Studios. Okay? And they're on YouTube. And I don't remember exactly which video it was, but it goes over how many people die per year, okay, from certain elements. Okay, and guess which one was the most? By far. We're talking like 20 times more than any other death. It was heart disease. Okay? Yeah. Heart disease. Okay? And you know what's funny is there's so many companies out there that sell garbage. Okay? Like, for instance, you got these companies that sell candy. You got companies that sell, fatty foods. You have companies that sell French fries, which are absolutely horrible for you. Okay, French fries should not be consumed. In fact, potatoes without the skin is like eating a donut, okay, minus the fat. Okay, it's almost all completely starch and sugar. That's pretty much what it is. Okay, it puts the weight on. And then when it's fried in oil, it's even worse. Okay, so French fries. And so I think if we really want to get serious about saving people's lives because in the name of safety, then we need to shut down all of the French fry production plants, right? Go ahead and leave the other restaurants open. They'll have to change their menus a little bit, but I don't think they should be selling French fries anymore because too many people are dying from heart disease, which is definitely caused by French fries, okay? So I'm just going to put that out there that, instead of shutting everyone down for, stupid reasons, how about we look at what's killing people the most and maybe go through in the industry and find which companies need to be shut down and only shut them down instead. Yeah, so we got to make a compromise, right? I mean, the government's going to want to try to control, and so instead of actually shutting everyone down, how about we actually shut down the ones that might actually make a difference. So like companies that make, junk food. And we have all these people. I still believe in liberty. I think everyone should stay open. I think everyone should have the right to choose on whether or not they want to eat French fries or not. But what I'm saying is you're looking for an olive branch, some kind of let's get in between. And why are you always so extreme on the other side? Why can't you, be helpful? And so I'm going to make a suggestion. How about we just shut down those companies that make junk food, right? Just make it so people can't have a choice that they can buy French fries, or donuts. Just make it so you have to only eat healthily because this is America, right? I mean, we have to keep everyone alive no matter what.